Students, welcome. I'm here to show you what I would like you to do on your day of painting. That will be Monday's class, no class on campus. You'll be staying at home as we decided when we were in class on Wednesday. And for those of you that we're not in class, and those of you that only want to do this class online, Monday we will not be having class on campus, and you're required to do as per the course outline, you are going to paint your swatches. So I wanted to give you a heads up on how to do it. I start out with a wide brush, and I want to dry it best I could, not completely dry. So I start with black paint, and I mix. And like I said, you don't need this mixing tray. If you have a hefty plate, that works fine. Add some white. You could put white in a separate little part of the dish, whatever you use, and just continue to mix. Ideally, you must mix it well, because otherwise you'll get streaks when you paint your swatch. I'm going to try to make it as light as possible. You start out with black, you keep adding white until you get something that's kind of, I'm going to show you the last one we're going to do is kind of light. Now, I look on my brush and I don't see any streaks of paint, so I know that my swatch is going to be accurate. I want you to paint going across first and up and down. And do this until you see no lines, no texture. We don't want that. And we don't want any streaks of paint. Okay, that's another swatch. Now I'm going to continue, and I'm going to put more white in that same swatch. I'm going to make it kind of white, real pale. I want you to see. How much white did you see I put in there? And now look, it's not that light. I'm going to make sure I mix it thoroughly. Up and down and across, making sure the paint is mixed thoroughly, because you'll get a streaky swatch. Now, as we discussed in class on Wednesday, you are responsible for probably, now it's your choice, an uneven number is best, so either 5 or 7 swatches. I would advise 5. In order to get 5 good ones, you're probably going to want to start with at least 15 of these. And those are my swatches. As you can see, I kept adding white, and look at how they're still dark. Let's do one that's predominantly white. Let's first. I want to dry the paint, as much paint out of my brush as possible. So here goes white. The way we mixed it, we started with black and started to add white. Now I'm going to start with a lot of white and add a very little bit of black. You can do it both ways. It's still not that light. And it's pretty streaky. So this was not a good swatch. Now, the other thing I like to suggest is, this is a mistake, but mistakes can be your friends. If this turns out to be a very streaky swatch and you have a lot of different values in it, save it. It could be the base of one of your texture swatches. Don't throw it away. Okay, so those have to dry. In the meantime, I have some that I already painted, and they're dry, because I want to show you how to mount them. Initially, you need to cut it out so that there's no sketchbook paper showing. Now this is, again, I did not measure these, but I know for a fact that they're all much bigger than what I would consider to be a good size. 2 by 2 or 2.5 by 2.5. So now I'm going to take this swatch and I'm going to make it that size. Okay. Bring this over here. Yeah, you can get rid of that. Now I like these see-through rulers because they give me all of the lines that are perpendicular, so at a glance I can get a square swatch. Now I'd also like to mention that on the second floor of the deck building, in a similar way that we have that storage room for our classroom, there's another storage room down the other end of the hall past the elevators. And there are paper cutters in there, 2 of them, and there's a light box. So at any given time, it doesn't seem like there's many students on the second floor while we're there. If you would like to use those, by all means, give it a shot. Don't worry about the door not working because they appear to be locked at all times, but they're not. They're just hard to open. It's a slide door. So now I'm going to measure this. I'm going to make this swatch 2.5 by 2.5. Now for Wednesday, if you see your way clear to painting at least 15 of these color swatches and cut them all out, not to the finished size, but just so that they're off the sketchbook paper, that would be a bonus. Okay, I did that. Next, here's my swatch. I'm finished painting, so before I spill this, let me close them all up. My next undertaking is going to be cutting, this is my image, cutting, but you don't have to worry about that, the foam core. You must have a metal ruler, otherwise you're going to slice the edge of your ruler right off. This has to be seriously the most difficult part of this project, without a doubt. A sharp X-Acto knife. Lean against that ruler. What I like to do is I like to keep scoring it, but I'm just going to do this with that. Came right apart because I did it pretty. Now I'm going to score it some more. But it's already cut, so I don't have to use the ruler. Yes, I do. This would be a good time to use a paper cutter. Now, then if it's a little irregular here on the edge, all you need is either an emery board or a piece of sandpaper. Sand it down and you'll have a smooth edge. Now, for the purposes of the swatches and potentially the image itself, I'm going to show you how I prefer to glue things. I'm using this swatch, and I'm going to mark this 2.5 by 2.5 on this. Maybe a little under 2.5, just because I don't want the line to show. Okay, I'm not going to even do that line. Then what you do is you put rubber cement on both the spot on the board that you want to glue things on, and on the back of the swatch. Okay, and I'm going to leave that there because what I want it to do is completely dry. Then next, what I wanted to do is to give you the idea that for Wednesday's class, we've gone over all of your images. All of you, we've all decided which image you should work with. I want you to make 2 copies. The one copy is going to be the one you're going to use for the board. So make sure that it is exactly the right size and the right density. And all the qualities of that needs to be exactly what you want it to be for that finished project. Then the second one, you're gonna print another one out just for your to use as your example to test things on. And what I like to suggest is, okay, I have to come up with texture. What do? I like it when you can look at the image and literally map out a square, doesn't matter what size it is, map out a square of what you potentially think you could utilize for one of your texture swatches. So I started here with this, it's sun, you can't see it, it's really dark. Sun, clouds, which of course we won't use cotton balls. And like I said, doesn't matter what the size is and if it's exactly square. But I worked on this before we got here, and I'm utilizing this sand and this sailboat that has a lot of contrast. The contrast in the pointy edge of the boat and the straight strips of the seat, the boards of the seats. So that to me means that it's going to be important for this project, and I'm going to mark them out. You know what? Continue to go around your image, find as many as you want. You may not use them all. You may go do your research, finding the fabric. Everything I do is a fabric. Finding the materials that you're going to use won't necessarily give you the look you want. Well, you'll have enough so that you can choose 5 good ones. And that's why I need you to make an extra copy of this. That'll be your reference. You can come up with ideas. You know, I don't know, if I look at this and I say, all right, for this water, I think I'm going to use crumpled aluminum foil and I'm going to paint it. So I could write that in, like on the back or on the sides or anywhere for your own personal reference. Let's see how my swatch is coming along. Very good. We're exactly where we want to be. We're clean. We're nice, ready to go. Now, this would be cut out completely, but I'm not going to do that. So I'm going to stick this right on there. And there it is, never to move again. The only bad news is I have a little bit of glue showing. So what do I do about that? Well, that's why rubber cement is the way to go. Either you could, I could use an eraser, or I can just rub it with my finger. And the glue just kind of comes off. If it's hard well, it's off. If it doesn't come off easily, use an eraser. A white eraser. You don't want it to leave the color of the eraser behind. And you could use this on the foam core as one of your swatches on the board. So I hope that this helps you all. I want you to explore all the values that you're going to need for this. Again, you need 5 to finish, but I want you to have 15 to start, because you're going to go through them and you're going to say, oh, this doesn't look right, it's streaky. Well, again, Keep the streaky ones because you may also be able to use those for the back of your texture swatch. Don't throw anything away. Actually, even some of these things that I've cut off, I could literally, not in my image, but I could literally cut them into irregular strips. And I could make, this could, you know, if they were all the same color or not, I could make some form of texture out of it. Don't ever throw anything away. Try to get some materials that you can use for your texture, specifically for your individual image, and bring some to class on Wednesday. Most of your painting, again, because it's on the course outline, and that's what you're going to do all day. Monday, hence we will not be in class on Monday. We will be working at home. And Wednesday, all of that should be complete. And then we could start moving forward to the development of our texture swatches, because obviously once your swatches are all painted and you've got them cut out, we have to move on to the texture. So I hope this helps, gives you some basic ideas about how to proceed, and whatever you do, have fun doing it.